It is now time for me to present my perspective, which can be summarized as follows. Taking into account the information that we now have at our disposal, following a thorough examination of the situation, I have arrived at the conclusion that Chrisean Rock would not have returned to Blueface under any circumstances. In my opinion, she is only attempting to garner attention and stir up a disturbance in order to achieve the objectives that she has set for herself. Because she is aware that the general public and the media are interested in her relationship with Blueface, she is utilizing this fact to her advantage in order to further her own interests. She is doing this in order to advance her particular interests. This action is being taken by her in order to advance her own personal interests. Having said that, I believe it is important to point out that this is only my opinion. It is not hard to accept the possibility that I could be wrong. This is the second time that the story has taken a turn that was not only unexpected, but also unusual. It is not completely out of the question that Chrisean Rock will end up in jail at this point in time. Taking into mind everything that has been said and done, we could not have properly predicted it in any way, shape, or form. It is not something that we could have foreseen. Your thoughts on the potential repercussions that this could have for Chrisean Rock's relationship with Blueface in the event that she is found guilty and sentenced to jail are something that I am really interested in hearing about. Because of this, the question arises as to whether or not he will pay her a visit while she is serving her sentence in prison. Would he be willing to make an attempt to help her get out of the predicament that she is now in? When it comes to moving on with his life, is it feasible that he will simply choose to forget about her and move on with his life? A further point to mention is that Carlissa Saffold is going to be taking part in this event. As a consequence of this, Carlissa Saffold is exerting all of her hard work in order to make certain that her son, Blueface, is liberated from the limits of the police station. It cannot be questioned that she is really concerned about him, and that she desires to be of assistance to him in any way that she can. This is beyond any reasonable dispute. Regarding this matter, there is absolutely no room for doubt or disagreement. Your perspective will be the deciding factor in determining whether or not she is successful in recovering him. The question that needs to be answered is whether or not she will be successful. Is it more likely that she will be confronted with further difficulties as she progresses through the process? Are there any references to Chrisean Rock that you can discover anywhere? Given the efforts that Carlissa Saffold has put forth, what do you anticipate her reaction will be to those efforts? It would be interesting to hear your thoughts on the kind of reaction you anticipate she will have. Blueface has been freed and is no longer being held hostage as a direct result of the fact that Carlissa Saffold designed a plan that ultimately proved to be successful. To say that this is a defining event in the progression of the plot would be an understatement. Not a single doubt exists regarding that. The question that arises at this particular instant is, what happens after this? Despite the fact that this circumstance exists, does Blueface make an effort to establish some distance between himself and Chrisean Rock in the event that he makes the decision to return to Chrisean Rock? In the event that this is not the case, does Blueface make any attempt to place some boundaries between himself and Chrisean Rock? At this point, let's talk about Carlissa Saffold. Can you tell me more about her? The question is, to what extent does she continue to be involved in her son's life? Or does she, on the other hand, take a backseat and let him make his own decisions? As a consequence of this, Carlissa Saffold is resolute in her determination to maintain her constant involvement in her son's life, and to provide him with assistance in establishing his footing. She is resolute in her effort to accomplish both of these goals. The fact that she took such a brave and admirable step is something that I respect her for. When it comes to Blueface, does he believe that she is meddling with his life? Or does he believe that she is interested in getting her assistance? Both of these thoughts are possible. In light of the fact that Carlissa Saffold is involved in the situation, what position does Chrisean Rock hold in connection to the matter? If you could, I would greatly appreciate it if you could please share with me her thoughts on the topic. Your ideas on the chance that the two women with whom you are acquainted will argue with one another are as follows. What are your thoughts on the possibility?